much for the introduction, Isabel. And it was really such a fantastic session. I feel a bit weird now to change topics kind of entirely, but this is also about, I will talk with Georgina, as you said, about giving credit where it's due, basically. So highlighting a little bit the contributions of imaging core facility staff and how important they are, and how important it is to recognize them actually in publications. And so this is also a topic where there's really not a global standard yet, and there are not really institutional policies in place. And so, yeah, I just quickly wanted to highlight basically what we're doing in this direction, but the slides are not changing, are they? Now. And so as a very quick introduction to global bioimaging, so GlobalBioImaging is this international or global network of imaging infrastructures and facilities. We have, as you see here, 13 partners that are all part of the global community across the world. Over 60 countries are represented. And Euro-BioImaging is one of the infrastructures that are partnering with GlobalBioImaging. And incidentally, it's actually one of the founding members of GlobalBioImaging. And so what do we do as a network? We have basically three main activities. We have training courses that are geared towards imaging scientists and core facility staff. So they all are on the topic of data management, facility management, and train-the-trainer formats. Then we have different working groups, and I'll be talking about them in a little bit. And we have annual exchange of experience conferences, which is really a platform where the global community meets and discusses their challenges and solutions. And so for the working groups, we have 6 different working groups, as you can see here. And this is really kind of the most consistent way, I think, to engage with the global community of imaging scientists. And imaging is anything from biomedical imaging and MRI, PET scans, and then this sort of medical imaging related field towards microscopy and super resolution techniques. And so this is also reflected a little bit in the topics that you see here. And I just wanted to highlight basically 2 working groups: image data management. Actually, I've seen a lot of faces and names here that are already part of this working group, which is really fun and nice to see. And the other one is the career path, because this is really the working group that made all of this happen, what I'm presenting today. And so just to encourage everyone, if you want to be part of these working groups, it's for free. You can join however often you want. You don't have to be part of the global community. So if you're interested in these topics, just really pass by and discuss with us. And so this brings me basically to the career path working group. This is chaired currently by Johanna Bishop from Euro-BioImaging and Michelle Itana from Bioimaging North America. And the working group consists currently of more than 19 members from over 30 countries. Which is quite impressive. And one of the tangible outcomes of what this working group produced is actually a publication or a white paper on highlighting basically what an imaging scientist is and how important the facility roles are to advance research and development. And so there's a global guideline basically that came out of this for establishing career path within core facilities. And one of the main outcomes of this, or one of the kind of impact points, if you wish, is that recognition of imaging scientists is really critical for their career progression. And this is beyond, we're always thinking about publications in terms of academic careers for postdocs and PIs and directors, but it's also really important for imaging staff. And so the working group put together this survey to understand kind of what is the global feel in this. Are there any solutions out there that we're maybe not aware of? Or are there maybe areas in the world where it is handled already completely differently? And so we really want to have a global view kind of the situation. And the survey ran out or rolled out almost 2 months ago, and we already have more than 217 responses from 38 countries. Of course, we would like to increase that number, but we can already learn quite a bit from what these participants reported. And because I thought you might be interested in that, 9 of these people are image analysts. And actually, 9 of them are full image analysts, if I can say that, because if you look at what the services are offered at the facilities these participants were working at, you can see that image analysis is actually super high up. It's one of the main services offered. And this is also reflected in basically the daily tasks. So this is just a list of different tasks that the participants reported on fulfilling. And data analysis, data interpretation is one of the key daily jobs, basically, that belongs to the description. And then if you look at what everybody is kind of doing at the facilities, looking at data analysis, interpretation, but also experimental design, manuscript preparation, not even thinking about methodology development and actually the help with all the instruments and the data acquisition. these are actually all things that would warrant kind of a contribution as an author in a publication. But the reality is that in many cases, core facility staff is not recognized, or rarely, or sometimes, or not so often. So it's really a huge kind of gap, or a huge kind of breadth of how recognition in publications is done. And so we were asking also, like, is there an institutional policy in place at your institution? And in many cases, there isn't. In many cases, there is, but they're not very clearly defined. And if you kind of look then at where and which places facility staff is recognized in the publication, you see that first and last authorship is almost never given. Co-authorship sometimes, acknowledgements are getting better, but if you really want to become to the green field, where everything becomes a little bit fairer, then I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And of course, there are still a lot of cases where facility staff is not recognized or not acknowledged at all. And so why does this all matter? Okay, sorry, the bottom line here is that institutional policies are probably key, and they should be sort of standardized across different institutions. And so why does this matter? So of course, this is very important for the career progression for the different imaging scientists. And this is not only important if you want to become a researcher and have a name in the academic track, but again, also if you want to work as a facility for job evaluation, promotion, funding, career prospects, but also for staff retention, or for facility, not only for the individual career maybe, but also for the facility as a whole, if they would like to acquire instruments or if they would need future funding, they need to show somehow how their work is supporting research, and this is very often done in publications. And so this is really important to highlight this a little bit and find a way and how to promote acknowledging staff better in publications. And so we gathered a few ideas, like what would you like, what do you think should be changed? And I will not read them out for time reasons, but just to say there are lots of things that resonate with many participants, and international recommendations, for example, harmonizations in research infrastructures, having institutional policies in place. This is all something that many ideas came up time and again. And with this, I just want to say, kind of lead the way and say, please fill out the survey if you haven't already, and help us advocate basically for contributing or for acknowledging the authorship or the contributions of core facility staff in publications.